Hello, loves. My name is Bree, and I received the ping that I was to sit down here and channel a message. And I don't know what the theme is, and I did ask, and there isn't a theme. So we're just gonna open it up and allow for what is in the highest good of all for each one of us individually and collectively to receive right now on the planet. I'm going to share the date. They're telling me to share the date. So it's April 3rd, 2024. It's about 9:41 in the morning. I'm not exactly sure where they're telling me to share this. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and ask who we have with us here today. And we have today the Seraphim Dragons. I'm feeling Sophia, Christ Consciousness, very present, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Yeshua, Green Tara, all 21 emanations of Tara, Kuan Yin, White Buffalo Woman, the Hathors are here, the Dakinis are here, Mahavatar Babaji is here. There's many light beings here with me that I am in the quantum realm connected to. And now that we've been informed of the beings that will be bringing through this message, I, Bree, am going to allow myself, and I'm being informed that this is going to balance the right and left ear and the masculine and feminine energy. All right, I'm being informed that also it's important that you be seated or lying down for this channeling. It's not one you want to be in movement for. Definitely don't want to be driving or operating machinery for. And it's something that you're going to need to consent to receive. So I'm being informed that you can take this transmission in two different ways, and really a multitude of ways. But to keep it simple, you can take this in as just a video that you're observing. That's one option. If that feels safer to you, I encourage you to do that. And the other option is that you will receive the light codes that are going to come through. My voice is getting a little wonky because they're going to raise our vibration and our frequency. And they're going to ground us throughout the entire process. That's why they want us seated. All right, I'm being shown a whole bunch of imagery now, so I'm just going to go into the channel and bring it through. Again, if you want to receive the light code, say yes now. You must consent to receive them. If you don't consent, you won't receive them. I'm not saying that you won't observe them, but you won't receive them deeply. So if you're still in flux, just be an observer. And if you are on your ascension journey and you have found the inner knowing that we're all a instrument of source, and this is really gonna lift you up and help you and balance you. All right. So take a few deep breaths. I'm gonna do the same while I get connected and I allow my ego mind to take a seat off the side so that we don't impact this based on my mindsets. Welcome to the quantum access point. Allow yourself to notice where your mind is taking you during this transmission, because that will indicate to you where your distractions lie. We called Bree into this transmission because she has reached a place in her ascension that will allow it. We ask all of you now to notice the air around you, the sounds around you, and what you see around you. And for those of you with the option to, we ask you to gently rest your eyes shut. Your planet is undergoing an evolution. And Bree is already trying to block this. So we're going to send that some nurturing. What you will see coming to light on your planet is all of the darkness that has been at play in the underbelly, we will call it, or the tunnels of your planet. The seraphim dragons are ever present on Mama Gaia as these dense and we will call them lost beings that were in a place of power previously on your planet that are now sensing that power slipping away. What Bree was trying to block, we can now share. This message is going to be more prevalent for those living in the United States and the United Kingdom, because these two locations were established by beings that were within the Roman Empire. Not only in the time period of the Roman Empire, but souls that were present during this power and control structure that are now back again to try the same actions. This time, however, they are outnumbered and outpowered by the light of Source. You may have heard of dark ages on your planet, golden ages on your planet. Were you aware that up until 2012 you were in a dark age? The golden age period began, from our perspective, in the 12th dimension in 2012, when the shift occurred. The shift we are referring to is the shift in frequency of Mama Gaia. For Mama Gaia is truly a mother of all of the beings that live upon and within her. And Mama Gaia is a lover of her children. She will do whatever she can to assist her children, and she adapts with her children. So when her children began to act out and hurt her other children, she needed to shift. What you will see manifest on your planet as earthquakes or tsunamis or fires, these are a purification of densities that have lied within the grid structures that have been here for 5,000 years. These grid structures that were created and built, you will call it, by powers that be, particularly in the time frame of Jesus, or Yeshua more accurately. The human beings on this planet are now understanding what took place, the control attempts, the fear attempts, the attempts to convince you that your free will is not yours. We would not like to get Bree shadow banned, so we will use different terminology for these messages. We will call them the elites, and we will not make mention to the specific groups associated with this group of elites, because it will not matter very soon. We would like to preface this next portion of the message to ensure that you know this may be triggering. And if you're not in a space to receive this message, it's time for you to press pause and come back to this at a later time. Many of you are familiar with sacrifice, these rituals that have taken place upon your planet, often with young ones, we will call them. Innocent animals, even. This was the attempt of the Roman Empire to stay young forever, we will call it. And these rituals carried on for many thousands of years. Most of them are wrapping up now. The reason Bree was trying to block this is because she is very sensitive on the topic of children. Bree is a member of the Yael. The Yael has been upon this planet since the beginning. You may conceptualize them as elders. You may conceptualize them as guardians. You may conceptualize them as keepers of the innocent. They do not only operate on planet Earth, they operate throughout this universe. Each universe will have a group, we will call it, similar to the IL. The Yael are originated from Sirius A and Pleiades. We can only utilize the vocabulary that is available in the channel's mind. So we will tell you now that these came from the third star in the Pleiades. These beings, these angelic souls, observed as free will was attempted to be infringed upon. And so they began their weaving and building to ensure that all of those beings put in these scenarios would have safe and easy passage into Source. And they would also have the ability to leave their bodies in times of need. This is something that Bree has always done and wasn't aware of it. This ability to be in the present moment and yet in another dimension simultaneously. So what will continue to unfold and be revealed are some of these top individuals who have been spearheading and leading these attempts to draw power from those innocent beings that they saw as containing a high amount of source light. In truth, all have access to source light, and this is something that is simply forgotten, particularly on planet Earth. We would like to bring awareness to some of the religious institutions upon your planet, in particular, the religious institutions that were birthed during the Roman Empire. You see, these stories that you continue to return to, perhaps in the Bible, perhaps in the Torah, the Quran, they were shaped and reshaped, you see. Most of them are based on the same single source story, but names were changed, genders were changed, and truths were manipulated. As Bree has uncovered this, she has had much inner friction. about this, because she first felt connected to spirit when she formed a relationship, she called it, with Jesus or Yeshua. But she always found error or untruth in the concept that souls need to be saved in any way. And she was right about this. None of you need to be saved by anyone outside of you. Your soul is whole. Your soul is source light. Your soul is a piece of God. Each soul is a piece or an emanation or an expression or an embodiment or an instrument of God, source, creator. So the story that you've been told and reaffirmed and reinforced that your soul is not made of this source light, we ask you to lovingly, gently, and compassionately let it go. We share this next portion of the message, asking all of you to go deeply into your heart to receive it. For your mind will try to make sense of it, and your mind will fail in this. Your mind is a powerful structure, and it is built by many energies. You are more impacted by your environment than you know. You are also more impacted by your ancestry than you know. And for those of you who are experiencing suffering of any form, we encourage you to build the practice of asking yourself if it is yours first. Some of you may not get an answer right away, but keep this up. Just ask internally, is this emotion, this heaviness, this disempowering story, is it mine? If you get a yes, it's time to explore it. And if you get a no, it's time to let it go. Emotions such as resentment and guilt and shame and frustration, annoyance, these byproduct emotions of unaddressed fear all stem from the same root, you see. This root is the root of feeling unworthy and undeserving of your soul, of source, of your wholeness. as soon as you allow these emotions to indicate and individuate the thought structures in your mind, you will instantly be in a field of distortion. Take a moment to deeper understand this. Because think about guilt and shame, for example. Would you feel guilty or shameful for following the rules of another human being that you do not agree with? Should you feel resentful and annoyed and irritated by beings outside of you? Or should you look within yourself about where this was birthed? Bree's allowing us to share this. As a child, she was called annoying. She was asked if she was embarrassed often. She knew at her core she was not annoying. She knew at her core she had nothing to be embarrassed about. But as more and more individuals began to affirm these outside inflicted identities, she started to shape her whole way of showing up in the world based on these judgments. And in recent years, she has let go of this programming so that she may fully step into her wholeness, the unrestricted eminence of her soul, which does not get tied up in comparison, which does not get tied up in naming something outside that is now creating a definition for the soul. Whether you know it or not, in this transmission, we are transmuting these denser energies. And we are also handing you a permission slip to no longer get trapped in these emotional states. Some of you, it's simple. You're feeling the emotion and you ask if it's yours, and it's no. You move on. And some of you, these recurring emotions have been showing up because you denied yourself early in your life. And that part of yourself that you denied is ready to be healed, is ready to be invited back in. In this transmission, we have activated your divine soul blueprint. All of you came in with everything that you need in this life, accessible to you through this divine soul blueprint. And you do not need anyone outside of you to access it. You do need, however, the ability to clear and settle the overthinking and projected thought forms that are within your mind. Once you settle these, all becomes clear. Your divine soul blueprint begins to give you sheets of the plan so that you may anchor source light here more than when you resisted it. And sure, we can understand, even from our perspective, how this might be scary for you. But would you prefer to live by the constructs another has for you? Or would you prefer to live from soul, from truth, from love? Bree is comfortably filled with light at this moment, and you may be too. But if not, feel free to start this video over. We bring this transmission to a close, lovingly and gratefully for you to take this time for not only you, but this planet and the cosmos, for all is connected. We encourage all of you to hydrate, to ground your bodies, and to listen to your heart every day. 1 minute of you simply intentionalizing to hear what your heart is trying to communicate to you could be all you need at this time to shift your entire trajectory. You just need to listen. And eventually you will learn to act as well from this listening. We leave you all with love. We ground all of your fields. We close all of the Akashic records, sealing in the highest timeline. Landing you all, landing you all. And now take a moment to have your energy return to you, to stay with you, and my energy to return to me, to stay with me. And we invite in Archangel Michael to tend to any unserving crossovers here in our energies, to just smooth and infuse liquid gold light through all of our etheric threads and cords. This unconditional love that is all-encompassing. Taking a moment to give deep and sincere gratitude for this beautiful message that was, I'm going to need to listen to back because I was in a very trance-like state. But I was more present for this one, for sure, because it was very relevant for me. Very relevant. How about you? I want to leave one little slice here that energy transmutation can show up in all sorts of ways. It might be burping. It might be coughing. It might be twitching in the body. It could be changes in temperature sensation. It could be that your nose is draining. It could be that your intestines are draining. It could be that your digestive system is being healed and cleansed. So I just want to share that on my ascension journey, I had a lot of ascension symptoms early on, and they did subside. They still show up here and there when I have a chakra that's going through a deep kind of upgrade, but I'm sharing this with all of you because this was a very strong cleanse of the third eye. So hydration is going to help this. Salt baths may help this. Grounding will definitely help this. Imagining yourself being grounded, sending roots down into the earth and really hearing it, feeling it, sensing it, because it's actually happening energetically. That's going to help to any of this distorted energy that was built up around the third eye. This is what causes that overthought. This is what causes those frictions between us and others. Washed. So it's going to wash. And all of this is for the absolute highest good of all. Because now you're not going to get stuck in those loops anymore. This Eclipse Portal, you're invited to write out all of the things that you're ready to let go of. And this isn't people. This isn't anything to do with anything outside of you. This all needs to be rooted in you, in the things that you have domain over. So patterns you have, tendencies you have. This is what will allow us to take this practice and truly anchor the changes. Because we're not allowing ourselves to get stuck in that victim mode. We're not getting stuck in lack. We're not getting stuck in comparison anymore. And the reason that we were okay with going into those energies before is because we were taught that that was normal. Or even good for some strange reason. But I want you to ask yourself if you're spending time sitting in guilt or shame or resentment. I want you to ask yourself, where are you getting when you feel those things? Is anything being helped at all? I'll leave you to answer that. And I offer you the opportunity to jump into the quantas, starseed activations, self-healing, master your energy, or even just a download of my free ebook, Transform Within. Because you're here for a reason. I'm not a fancy YouTuber. I am a person who shows up and is raw and allows. And so are you. And of all the YouTube channels that you could be watching, the fact that you're here now, it's for a reason. So I love you all. I send you off with your specific divine soul blueprint to begin to familiarize yourself with. And remember, I love you all so very deeply. Namaste.